There is a quiet, almost invisible trap that waits for a man as he grows wiser. It does not look like a threat, it looks like a second chance. When a younger woman enters your life, bringing a fresh wave of vitality, something ancient and deeply buried wakes up inside you. But in that exact moment of awakening, most men commit a silent, psychological self-sabotage that destroys the very dignity they spent decades building. There is one specific mistake, the fifth one we will discuss, that acts as an emotional gravity well, pulling down even the most successful men without them ever realizing they've fallen. By understanding how to navigate this psychological tightrope, you will discover that your greatest power isn't in reclaiming your youth, but in mastering a type of presence that youth can never replicate. And to understand this, we must first look at what happens when the rhythm of your life suddenly shifts. You have lived. You have built a career, survived hardships, and gathered a quiet wisdom that only time can grant. Then, a younger woman enters your circle. She brings an energy that is bright, curious, and entirely different from the structured world you have built. When she offers you her genuine attention, it can feel like a sudden spring in the middle of autumn. It is intoxicating, but here is where the danger begins. In the warmth of this new attention, many men begin to silently apologize for their own maturity. They look in the mirror and suddenly see their gray hair not as a badge of honor, but as a liability. They begin to adjust their posture, their words, and their lives to fit into her world. Without realizing it, they abandon the high ground of their own experience and try to meet her on a level where they will always be at a disadvantage. When you bend yourself out of shape to fit into someone else's life, you lose the very stability that made you worth looking up to in the first place. Think of a great oak tree. It does not try to bend and sway with the agility of a young willow. It is valuable precisely because it is deep-rooted, weathered, and unmoving in a storm. The moment the oak tries to act like a willow, it looks unnatural. It loses its majesty. And this brings us to the first critical error, trying to match her age. It is a common urge to adapt your clothing, your vocabulary, and your interests to match a younger generation. You might think this shows flexibility or relevance. In truth, it signals a deep discomfort with who you are. A woman of any age is highly perceptive. She can immediately sense when a man is performing. When you mimic the trends of youth, it does not make you look younger. It merely highlights the distance between who you are and who you are pretending to be. In your age is not a weakness to be hidden. It is your greatest asset. It represents your depth, your resilience, and your ability to remain calm when the world is chaotic. A younger woman is often drawn to a mature man because she lacks that grounded stability in her own peers. She is looking for an anchor, not another boat tossing in the waves. When you stand firmly in your own season of life, your presence carries a weight that cannot be bought or faked. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca observed, life is divided into distinct seasons, and each has its own beauty and utility. To force the warmth of summer into the crisp air of autumn is to ruin both. Accept your season. Own your maturity. Let your confidence stem from the decades of life you have successfully navigated. But staying grounded is about more than just how you dress or speak. It is about where you place your emotional energy. This leads us to the second mistake, one that is incredibly easy to slip into because it feels like kindness. You must never become her emotional support system. Imagine a scenario. She begins to share her anxieties, her frustrations, and her complicated interpersonal dramas with you. Because you care, and because you have a lifetime of problem-solving experience, You listen intently. You offer advice. You comfort her. You feel needed, and you mistake this shared vulnerability for a deep, romantic connection. /in, but you have walked into a psychological maze. By allowing yourself to become the repository for all her emotional turbulence, you are not building attraction, you are building dependency. There is a profound difference between being a supportive partner and being an emotional dumping ground. When you constantly play the role of the therapist or the surrogate parent, you shift the dynamic. You are no longer an equal partner in a healthy connection. You have become a functional tool for her emotional regulation. /in Epictetus taught that we must distinguish between what is ours to control and what is not. Another person's emotional storm is not your burden to carry. A mature man of self-respect knows how to listen with empathy, but he does not absorb the chaos. He remains a steady harbor, not a sponge. If you allow her emotional waves to drag you down into the depths of her anxiety, you lose your stillness. And once you lose your stillness, you lose the ability to offer genuine strength. And have you ever caught yourself staying up late, staring at your phone, trying to draft the perfect response to a crisis that wasn't yours to solve? Ask yourself, are you doing this out of genuine connection, or because you fear that if you don't solve her problems, she will look elsewhere? In this question reveals the third, and perhaps most damaging, error, the constant search for her validation. It is a subtle poison. It begins when you start monitoring her responses too closely. You notice how long she takes to reply to a text. You find yourself offering compliments that feel slightly too eager, hoping to see a spark of approval in her eyes. You start adjusting your opinions and your schedule just to keep her interested. In when you do this, you surrender your sovereignty. You are no longer acting from a place of internal alignment. You are reacting to her external signals. This is the definition of losing your center. A man who relies on someone else's approval to feel complete is always at the mercy of their whims. In Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the foolishness of seeking praise from others. He asked why we care so much about the opinions of those who are themselves flawed and searching. True value is self-contained. An emerald does not lose its beauty because someone fails to praise it. Your worth as a man who has lived, learned, and built a life does not fluctuate based on how quickly a younger woman replies to your message. In when you remain centered in your own worth, you do not chase. You do not panic when there is silence. If she takes hours to respond, you do not fill the void with anxious messages. You continue with your day, focused on your purpose, your work, and your own life. This lack of desperation is not a game or a tactic. It is the natural byproduct of a man who knows he is already complete. In this leads directly into the fourth mistake, the exhausting attempt to impress her. When we feel the weight of our years, we often try to compensate by over-delivering. We plan elaborate, expensive dates. We tell stories designed to highlight our achievements, our wealth, or our status. We try to be perfect, but a performance always creates pressure. When you are trying to impress, you are implicitly stating that who you are in your natural state is not enough. You are placing her on a pedestal and looking up at her, begging her to notice your accomplishments. This instantly shifts the power dynamic. It transforms a potential mutual connection into an audition. In true leadership, in the Stoic sense, is quiet. It is not loud, flash, or demanding. It is the simple, relaxed confidence of a man who is entirely comfortable in his own skin. He makes decisions without hesitation. He does not need to boast about his achievements because his character speaks for itself. When you are with her, be present. not impressive. Let the connection breathe. If things do not go perfectly on a date, do not panic or over-advise. A mature man smiles at life's minor mishaps. He remains relaxed, and that relaxation is contagious. It allows her to drop her own guard and simply enjoy your presence. /in/in. If you have made it this far, you are already demonstrating a level of self-reflection that most men never achieve. But what we are about to discuss next is the psychological trap that destroys more connections than any other. The quiet error of mental projection. /in/in. This is the fifth mistake. Building a future in your mind too early. It is the gravity we spoke of earlier. It happens when a man has been lonely, or perhaps when he feels the quiet ticking of the clock. He meets a woman who makes him feel alive, and his imagination runs wild. Within weeks, he is projecting months or years into the future. He is picturing vacations, holidays, and a shared life. He has constructed an entire narrative before she has even decided where she wants to have dinner next Tuesday. /in/in. This projection is incredibly dangerous. When you fall in love with a fantasy of the future, you stop seeing the reality of the present. You begin to overlook clear warning signs of incompatibility. You ignore red flags because they do not fit into the beautiful story you have written in your head. You invest massive amounts of emotional energy into an illusion, and when reality inevitably breaks that illusion, the fall is devastating. /in/in. The Stoics called this the discipline of assent. It is the practice of not letting your impressions run away with you. When you feel a strong impression of future happiness, Stoicism demands that you pause. See the situation for exactly what it is right now, no more, no less. She is a person you are getting to know. Nothing more. Enjoy her company today. Share a laugh today. But do not bind your peace of mind to a future that does not exist. /in/in. When you stop projecting, you remove a massive, unspoken pressure from the relationship. A woman can feel when a man is already trying to fit her into a pre-written script. It feels restrictive. But when you stay firmly rooted in the present, she feels free to explore the connection at a natural pace. You become a man of ease, not a man of expectations. /in/in. This brings us to the final and most crucial principle. Never forget who you are. This is the anchor that holds all other principles together. /in/in. When a mature man is drawn to a younger woman, it is easy for him to experience a subtle form of amnesia. He forgets the battles he has won. He forgets the grief he has survived, the businesses he has built, the wisdom he has earned through tears and sweat. He begins to view himself through the narrow lens of youthful relevance, wondering if he is still current, still cool, still desirable. /in/in. This is a tragedy. You are not a petitioner begging for a scrap of youth. You are a man of substance. She is not doing you a favor by spending time with you. You are both choosing to share your valuable time with one another. Your attention has value. Your time has value. Your life experience is a treasure that cannot be found in any youth culture. /in/in. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Stand straight, not held straight. Your posture in life must come from your own internal structure, not from the temporary validation of another person. When you internalize this truth deeply, your entire demeanor shifts. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You simply exist as a grounded, powerful force of nature. /in/in. Your age is not a liability to be managed. It is the very foundation of your unique strength. The moment you try to act like a younger man, You surrender the only thing that makes you truly irreplaceable. Hold your ground. Honor the path you have walked. Speak your truth with quiet confidence. And never, ever compromise the self-respect you spend a lifetime building. And if this perspective resonated with you, consider subscribing to Stoic Mind. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on how to maintain inner strength in modern relationships. Let us continue to build a community of grounded, resilient men.